Welcome to Intoxication Station on Interbrews, where we interview local heroes to see how they impact the local community on their small business. Today I'm being featured by Kevin with Siesta Key Rum. Kevin, how we doing today?
Doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. We're also featured with our social media manager, Haley. How we doing
Hey guys,
today?
we're great.
Great, great. So today on Interbrews, we are going to check out a Siesta Key Rum, which, if you guys kept up with the social media on the Coastal Coast trip that we did a few weeks back, we were able to stop by Siesta Key Rum and check out their distillery over in, where was it again?
So it's
It's
in
in
Sarasota.
In Sarasota. Beautiful place on the inside. Just all around great location. Now, Kevin, for the viewers that are watching us, what drew you into the industry? What brought you to Siesta Key?
Full disclosure, I am the stepson of the owner, Troy Roberts. But originally, I didn't have much of an interest in the distillery. In fact, I went out of my way to take as many jobs as I could without working there because I didn't want to be like, I'm going to work for my stepdad. But eventually, while I was in college, I started to pick up an interest in the making of alcohol, which, a lot of people in college start to take an interest in alcohol
Absolutely.
naturally.
Absolutely.
So I asked Troy if there was a position available at the distillery, and he started me off as a temp on the bottling line. So I got to see the whole bottling process. I got to watch the proofing process of the rum and everything. Then I went in as a actual full-time bottling employee. I left the distillery, finished up college, came back to it, started working in the tasting room, then giving the tours for the distillery. Eventually, I started rewriting the tour because it used to be over an hour long, brought it down to like 30, 35 minutes, keep it a little more condensed.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I do a lot of things like this. I go on the news for the distillery. I do a lot of the face work for the distillery. Absolutely love it though.
Which you did a great job when we were there. So we didn't get there at the moment of opening. Quite frankly, we got there maybe 20 minutes before it closed that day. And it was so comprehensive between the short tour that you did, the tastings that you did, along with the cocktails that we had in the back room, that I would like to think that I had a full-on experience, short of going through the complete distilling line and checking the massive vats that you had, that you guys have up there. But it was very comprehensive, and just the infinitesimal amount of time that we were there, which great job on you for doing that.
Thank you.
Because I know a lot of people don't have a full hour to dedicate to, well, I mean, much anything right now,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to the tour, the tastings, and everything that go along with it. We have reviewed and interviewed a few other distilleries on the channel, and where you guys sit compared to the places that we have been to is functional space with nice artwork that plays well with the equipment and the large tasting room that you have, which I take it that's for events that you have.
Yes, so the tasting room, we'll typically have around 60 people per tour. And then outside of that, we will have after hours events that people will rent out the space to use. So we did have to build it just large enough where we could accommodate, especially those events where they'll bring 100 plus people.
Hmm.
And then we also have our whole distillery area where, because there's not too much that's going to be going in and out of the area, since that is just going to be used to make our silver rum. Everything else, as far as like infusions and bottling goes, happens in the back. We're
Hmm.
able to keep most of that open space available for customers to sit down, have a drink, socialize. And then we also have a bar now as well.
Which beautiful bar. We do have a photo of the infinite barrel room that you have right
Yes.
behind the bar. That is such an amazing feature that you guys have there. Truly beautiful. I would ask the secrets on how you do it, but I understand that you got to keep some secrets.
I mean, I'm happy to tell you, I am quite proud of it, mostly because my mom's the one who designed it. She
Nice.
does a lot of art, so I love showing off like her work. That bottle tree that you saw when you first walked in as well, that was also designed by her. But really what it is, if you're okay with me explaining it.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you
Please.
feel comfortable with.
So there is a one-way mirror that you're looking through, and then where it says Siesta Key Rum, that's where the regular mirror is. And all of those barrels you were seeing were actually just cut in half. So there's
Really?
just 9 barrels in there.
That's
You would
fantastic.
never know it. Like, it
Yeah.
looked like looking into just an infinite room of barrels that were going back there. Like, really cool illusion that went along with it. Now, are you able to discuss a little bit of the history behind Siesta Key, where the name came from, and be able to bring light to Siesta Key as a whole?
Yeah, I
Yes,
was
I would love
surprised
to.
that it wasn't actually in Siesta Key. When I first found it, I was like, "Yes, we get to go down to Siesta Key," because that's where I grew up hanging out, and
Mhm.
then it was not in Siesta Key.
That's one of the questions we get the most is, why are you called Siesta Key Rum when you're not on Siesta
Mhm.
Key? And really, it's because it sounds a lot better than Industrial Boulevard rum. But actually, Troy, our owner, he grew up on Siesta Key. So it is a place that does mean a lot to him. He lived on Siesta Key when he moved back to Florida. And it's also just, it's something that's so recognizable, Siesta Key.
It's very islandy too, like, when you think about rum, you think about the beach, you think about being out there in the sand, and
Exactly.
everybody vacations down in Siesta Key down here, so I think
Well,
that's really
so the biggest
very
thing
common.
that I
Mhm.
gained from that was, quite honestly, it's one of the more Florida locations I've been to, because you pull up to the building in an industrial park and you're like, where the hell am I getting myself into? Then the moment that you step inside, you're like, well, this doesn't look like anything like the outside. And
Mhm.
it just goes to show that the hidden gems that are within the state of Florida are just that, really hidden gems. I mean, you really have to look around and do your research on these places. Um, So how long has Siesta Key Rum been? Like how long have they been around for?
Yeah, we are actually Florida's oldest established craft distillery. We were established in 2007, so we are 18 years old now, which
Nice.
is pretty awesome. We did our 15-year anniversary a few years ago, and for that, we actually made special bottles for our toasted coconut rum, and we wound up having 2,000 people show up just to celebrate this. So this is
Nice.
something that the community also holds very dear as
Well,
well.
I mean, the product that you guys make is outstanding to say the least. Because prior to going to Siesta Key, yeah, my experience with rum was always Captain Morgan, which Captain Morgan is by definition rum. May not be the best that's out there. The four pack that I bought from you guys, being the toasted coconut, coffee, spice rum, and silver rum. The toasted coconut disappeared. That was by far my favorite out of the lineup that we did try, along with the spice rum right behind it. And the spice rum had actual spices in it. Like, you could taste all the different flavors, the subtle nuances that went along with it. Yeah, something that you don't get out of a mass commercialized product like Captain Morgan. Yeah, we're not saying that they use artificial products, but it doesn't really hold a candle to what you guys have.
That's the main difference between our rum and pretty much every other rum you're going to find on the market, at least as far as rums in the US go,
Mhm.
because we are the only distillery that is, we're just using real food ingredients. There is nothing artificial, natural, or chemical in our rums. The spiced rum, like you said, real spices, cinnamon, cardamom, clove, real honey, real vanilla, all soaked in with our silver rum, and the toasted coconut rum. It's just hundreds of pounds of real toasted coconut flakes that we're soaking in a tank of our silver rum, along with some real honey and real vanilla.
Such delicious stuff. Like, it really changed my opinion on rum in total. Like, my new go-to, which I wish I would have bought a bigger bottle when I was there. Luckily, the availability that you guys have is pretty significant, at least throughout the state of Florida anyways. I actually found a location not even a mile and a half from where I live that carries your product, and I had no idea prior to checking out the website, where you have the store locator on there, which is a very handy tool in this case. Um,
Mm.
because when we were on location with you guys, you did mention that you were going to be at Total Wine, which, I mean, I do have a Total Wine near me, but it's definitely a bit of a trek, about 30 minutes either one that I would go to. But you're also at the Publix liquor stores as well too, which is super handy, and just all around great availability overall. Is there anything that you guys may have planned in the future as far as like new flavors, new distribution networks, out of state networks? What exactly do you have planned for the future that you're able to talk about?
So there are a lot of things that are hush hush that I can't fully go into. I can say that we're still planning on expanding to even more states. Currently, we're available in 34 states,
Nice.
and that number is continuing to grow. The best way to find where our rum is sold in whatever state you're living in or near your state is by going to our website, siestakeyrum.com, then clicking the Find Rum tab and typing in your zip code. But as far as rums that we are planning on putting out for the last several years, we've been working on a banana rum. And
Ooh.
here's the thing with using only real food ingredients. You can't just come out the gate having a million different flavors like you'll see with a lot of new like
Mhm.
craft distilleries where they're using those liquid flavorings so they can just put out as many flavors as they want. Since we're trying to use real banana with that, there comes an issue where you're getting separation
Right.
in the bottle, which we finally solved that problem. And once we solved that problem, is the next set of issues where really what is stopping us right now is when we go to filter it, we lose about 30% of the product. So
Wow.
it's not financially viable to put that out
Which is fair,
currently.
especially for
Yeah.
mass market. Now, would that be something that you guys would consider on like a seasonal basis?
There are talks on what we want to do to get around this for the banana rum because it's something we really want to put out. I think ultimately we are going to just continue to do experiments with it so we can have it be a main release. I know Troy has worked on this for so long that he just doesn't want to
Right.
somewhat give up and just be like, okay, every once in a while we'll put this out. Not making any promises either way, but
Mhm.
I believe that we are probably going to keep working on it to try to make it a mainline release. While we're kind of in a stump on what to do with it, we have been working on other projects, mostly on the barrel aged end. So we always have our beer barrel series, which is how we get the majority of our different rum varieties out there, and that is our spiced rum aged in beer barrels from different local breweries. Because we're always getting different barrels from these different breweries, we're always getting a different flavor of beer in those barrels that they send us. So we always have really cool and interesting creations. Like we had a bananas Foster one year, we had a s'mores beer barrel one year, we had a blood
Ooh.
orange another year. So that's kind of the way that we get that variety out there is by doing these limited barrel age releases. Now,
Mhm.
because these only range from 80 to 300 bottles per batch, we only sell them at our distillery. So
Mhm.
you do have to come to the distillery to get this. And you actually have to get there like about an hour before we open because that's when the line normally starts forming.
Well, yeah. Well, so the best, from my knowledge, anyways, I've been doing a little bit of studying when it comes to bourbons, whiskeys, things of that nature, as far as aging process goes. I know from a federal standpoint, you have to let whiskey or bourbon age for no less than 5 years before it could be technically called whiskey or bourbon. What
Mhm.
exactly is the difference between an aged rum versus an aged bourbon or whiskey? Is it the same timeline or is it an extended timeline?
So the timeline is going to be a little bit different. We typically do our barrel aging, continuing on with the beer barrel,
Hmm.
since that's the last one I talked about. Anyways, that'll be anywhere from 6 months to 4 years that we will do that. But we have a variety of different barrel aged products like the Distiller's Reserve, which we do a Solera blend with that. So the minimum that that's being aged is always going to be 4 years.
Mhm.
But this current batch that came out was 4 to 15 years. Next year, batch 12 will come out. That'll be 4 to 16 years. So every year it's longer and longer.
Hmm.
We don't really have a set rule on how long these are going to be aged, but typically they're going to be over 6 months
All right.
for the aging process.
Now, your special batches, do you usually release that information on your social media, or how do you get that information out to your customers when there's a special release like that?
Yeah, so the way we get our special releases out there, like the information about them, is by people signing up on our email list or following us on Facebook or Instagram. And then we normally send out these notifications about a week or two before they come out. And we'll have people from not only all over the state or the country, but even outside of the US will come here. We have this German family who come down once a year around the time that we do our Distiller's Reserve release, just so they can get it in time, which is
You have
really
Nice.
some
cool.
big fans. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
No, and I see why, because I mean, you guys do make a phenomenal product all across the board. So, one of the questions I do have, what was your easiest day? What was your hardest day throughout your experience at the distillery?
Easiest day versus hardest day at the distillery? A good question. So I would say probably my easiest day would really be the days that we are just completely booked with people. Like when we have those release days and we have people constantly coming in. I know it sounds like it would be the hardest, but the fact that everyone is just moving around, we're all doing something, we're all like constantly working, it makes it so easy to just go through the day knowing exactly what you're doing, knowing exactly who you're taking care of. And it's fun because we have fun the whole time we're working there. Everybody who works there is somebody who wants to be there that
Mm.
day, and our customers know that and they love that because they are so excited to be there. It also makes it really easy. The hardest days are the days where we don't have a lot of customers coming in. When we're in our slow season around like August and September, there are some days where we won't have anybody signed up for the tour, but we'll maybe have one or two people come into the tasting room. And that is the hardest just because it's a lot of doing busy work here and there, cleaning things. But those days are also valuable because those are days where we can prep for when we're about to get busy. So there's
Well, yeah.
never a day where we're not doing anything, but we do love to have our customers there.
Oh, yeah. Well, coming from a retail environment where busy is better,
Mm-hmm.
slow kills you. I get that completely. Because the muscle memory kicks in, fight or flight, if you will,
Yes.
kicks in whenever you have a lot of people there. And provided that you're well knowledge on the product, like you are, and everybody works in a good team, it just goes seamless all across the board. There could be
Mm-hmm.
1,000 people outside, and it's going to go by super quick. Even though it's 6 hours later, you're like, I thought I took my lunch 20 minutes ago. Why is it 6 o'clock already? Polar opposite when it comes to the slow days as well, too, because the seconds go by like minutes and the minutes go by like hours.
Yep.
So I understand that completely. Now, as far as memorable days, like what would be the defining point on what kept you in Siesta Key Rum? Like what kept you there? What really latched you in?
The sense of community that we've all built there. When you were there, I believe you met the three of us. You met Shane and Vera as well.
Hmm.
Hmm.
The three
Yep.
of us who work up front. They're just like family. And that's really what keeps me in is how much being there feel like I'm still home. I'm still with family when I'm there. And then the customers who come in, we have so many regulars who come in who it's just I always get a big smile on my face when I see them. And that's what keeps me going is because I know I'm not going to find that at just any other place that I go to.
Well, yeah,
That's really what makes Siesta Key Rum so special is that we care so much about this community. We would do just about anything for these people. And we know that these people would also do just about anything for us.
Yeah, that's important.
it really is. And it reflects in the overall care that you have for the local community as well, too. Now, one of the questions I don't have on my list here, but bears asking, being that you guys are on the coast, when hurricanes come through, how affected have you guys been in the past versus in recent years since being in operation? Like, have there been times where the building's been breached by the hurricane, water intrusion, anything of that nature? And if so, what was the recovery effort?
So, yes, we are relatively close to the water where our distillery is. Thankfully, here my bookshelf's made out of wood. We haven't had a lot of issues from like insane damage to the distillery itself. We've had small amounts of water leaking here and there, but nothing that's ever ruined any product or ruined our
Mm,
barrels, nothing like that. The most amount of damage we've really gotten was from bits of our roof flying off, and now everything's the industrial park that we're occupying has gone under new management. Everything has been upgraded to withstand, I believe, up to Cat 5 hurricanes.
nice.
So we shouldn't have any issues in the future. We've never had a situation where, again, we have had things destroyed, but we also do take a lot of precautions. Like we'll still take all of our labels down from our labeling room. We'll wrap them in plastic bags once, twice, three times over, put them onto pallets, stack those pallets up high. We put a ton of our totes in front of like our rolling doors to make sure none of those are going to blow open. Even our distiller, Shane, he stayed overnight at the distillery just to keep everything safe.
Vera was telling us that, and I thought it was Troy, but Vera was telling us that somebody came in that was spent the night during, was it Halida or Milton that he
Yeah.
came running into the shop? Yeah.
Yep, Shane came in, wanted to keep everything safe, also to keep him and his dog safe because he was even closer to the water than the distillery is. And we named a drink after him. We did a whole celebration. And then we also knew that so many people had been affected by especially this most recent hurricane. So for the locals, we actually did a sale, a 25% off of everything in the distillery sale, to help out because when you have something like that happen, you're definitely going to want to drink.
Well, yeah.
And we wanted to make it a little bit easier for people to get their alcohol. We're also not like we don't do a lot of sales because we only sell our own product. So it's not like we can mark something else up
Mhm.
to bring the price of something else down. So typically we
Mhm.
only do this like a Black Friday sale, but we really wanted to do that to give back to the community. Another thing we did was we had our typical Christmas party where we always donate to All Faiths Food Bank, but we also donated the proceeds to the hurricane relief as well.
Awesome.
No, it really is. And it's glad that you guys are so involved with the community overall. Because, I mean, without community, it takes a village to raise a child. It really does. And to be able to see Siesta Key succeed and be as long as in operation as you guys have, that's very impressive overall. Now, as far as other people that may be interested in, well, I mean, just small business in general, it doesn't need to be a rum distillery or brewing or anything of that nature. What kind of advice would you offer the audience if they are interested into doing their own thing?
So I would say if you're interested in doing your own thing, just having your own business in general, patience. You have to be so patient because nothing is going to one be a hit right off the bat. I mean, it took until we had our toasted coconut rum where to when we didn't have to really start gaining any credibility from anyone. So we had two rums that had already released before that, and we were constantly in competitions and trying to get the word out about our rum out there. And then by the time we had the toasted coconuts, 2010, the silver rum came out. About 2014, the toasted coconut rum came out, and that's when we really started gaining credibility. But even then, we weren't having like a steady profit just yet. It wasn't until an entire 6 years in that a profit even started to grow. So this is something that Troy, he really dedicated himself to this. He put everything he had into this distillery. And that's what I would say for everybody is you have to be all in with this. You really have to be constantly working at your business and something you're always going to be taking care of. And you just have to be ready for that.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially in today's age where everything is such instant gratification. Yeah,
Yes.
like I remember growing up in the early 2000s and whatnot. It took 2 to 4 business weeks in order to get something from a catalog. Now, yeah, I mean, depending on where you order from, you can get same day delivery within the
Yeah.
hour in some cases. So the instant gratification society that we're in right now is very paramount. And not saying that it leads to dead dreams when it comes to pursuing your own passion to make your own business, but it does hinder it quite a bit because
Yes.
everyone wants the instant gratification from it. Like with the channel that we have here, Intoxication Station, we've been working at this for a little over a year, and the ethos of the channel is to support small business. Always has been from day one, and
Mhm.
in doing so, all the places that we do review, along with doing the Interbrews, which is a new segment that we brought in, is we don't expect any kind of discounts. Free items, none of that. We don't expect any of that because coming from a line of small business owners on both sides of the family, the last thing that you want to do is take food out of someone else's mouth to put it in your mouth just for the clout that goes along with it,
Yeah.
which yeah, makes me appreciate all the places that we go to that much more because I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. You know, just like we're going over to Siesta Key Rum. Had the budget been there to buy more of the different rums, let alone, I'm not sure how much a barrel of the spice rum's going for, but I'm really considering getting one of those. Yeah, it's a phenomenal product. And to hear the backstory behind Siesta Key in a condensed version, anyways, is also great as well, too. Because it's companies like you guys that need to be on the forefront, on the front shelf, at the top shelf, at the places that I go to when it comes to liquor sales or anything of that nature.
No, he does.
Now, Out of all the cocktails that you guys do offer at the distillery, which one's your favorite, and which cocktail is your personal favorite? Because they're two separate ones.
Actually, it's the same one. The cucumber jalapeno rum rita is my absolute favorite. If I had to choose a second favorite that isn't on the menu, I would say our coquito.
Ooh, and we are coming up on season.
We
are coming
are.
up on season of coquitos.
And the spiced rum is perfect for that. It is so good.
That spiced rum is perfect for any and everything. Because I made a couple of rum and cokes off of the spiced rum that I got. Best thing I've ever had.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I had the old fashioned when I was there with
The Distiller's Reserve.
yeah, that one.
Yep.
So good.
Well, Kevin, I do appreciate you taking your time out of your day for us. We did have a little bit of technical difficulties prior to linking up to this, but I do thank you for hanging around for as long as you did. It's great to have you on the channel. Now, for the people that are paying attention, where can we find you?
Product, where can we find you online? How do we get to Siesta Key?
To find where you can find us, the actual location of the distillery, where you can get our stuff online, and where you can find us in your state, it's all going to be the same thing. Just go to siestakeyrum.com. And then we have tabs for finding the rum in your state by just hitting the Find Rum tab. It has our address on there, 2212 Industrial Boulevard. And it even will give you directions on how to get to the distillery. And then as far as buying our product online, since we are a Florida distillery, legally, we can't ship our product out. You can buy things like our merch and stuff like that online. But when it comes to buying our rum online, you would go through Universal Fine Wine and Spirits, and their website is just universalfws.com. I believe there are only about 5 states where they can't ship their product, but all of those states are state controlled. So if you know your state is state controlled when it comes to liquor, you know you can't get it anyways.
Well, once again, I do appreciate taking the time out for us today. I'm Raymond with Intoxication Station, Haley, our social media manager, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks, guys.